Hi everybody, Faceless here. So today we're going to talk about the quiz from MrBeast and SunnyV that did a video on it, and then MrBeast replying to it, and then the whole internet has now been talking about it. So this actually comes in the week where we were still talking about Dylan, but the Nike situation. And now we have jumped to another trans situation, and that it's going crazy, and a whole lot of people, well, everybody actually has a side to take on this. Obviously everybody has an opinion, so some people are actually supporting SunnyV, and some people are actually supporting MrBeast. Some people are supporting Chris, and I decided to actually give my opinion about this. So for people who don't know who MrBeast is, I will actually do a little intro. So what happened was SunnyV here, a YouTuber with quite a lot of subscribers. So for people who do not know who SunnyV is a YouTuber who has more than 3 million subscribers, and most of his videos, he publishes one video a week, and they usually make more than 2 million views, as you can see. So he's from Australia, and has a whole lot of view overall from all his videos. So talks about all different subjects. So usually he's also a person who reacts and gives his opinion about a couple of things that are out there. So you also have MrBeast, 145 million subs, quite a number of videos, and most of the time his videos does really well. So you see 12 days ago he has more than 100 million views. So he has videos that are like so great. And the particularity of MrBeast is he started this YouTube video like more than 5 years ago, and it started as somebody a teenager who didn't know nothing from nothing, but who knew that he wanted to work hard to actually make great videos. And now he does a whole lot of things for around the planet. He has fast food, he has chocolate bars. There is a channel called MrBeast Philanthropy where he gives out shoes. So he has a channel that does a lot of things. And I remember when this video actually came out, and they were trying to make this video the most popular video, which I think at the time he actually became, just to show you the power of what he had. Why are we talking about MrBeast? So most people actually have gone back to his first video all around. So that actually goes to show how much people actually love the MrBeast channel. So you will see around that this is why we are here today. This person is why we are here today. So this person is actually Chris, here again. And Chris is probably one of MrBeast's oldest friend. They have gone to school together. They have started this channel pretty much together. You know, the person that Chris has actually been transitioning to become a woman, and this is what all the commotion is all about. So SunnyV2 decided to actually make a video about it, which we're going to react to. A lot of people upset with SunnyV. Some people upset because of Jimmy from MrBeast has actually reacted to SunnyV's video, and a lot of people are also upset about that, which I think that's what it is. There is not a win-win-win situation. It's actually a lose-lose situation, because somebody was going to be upset about this. If you are pro-trans, you're going to be upset with MrBeast and the crew, and if you are, there is nobody winning here, unfortunately. Let's actually go and watch the video from SunnyV2.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast Brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits.
There's just a couple of people who are upset even with this opening, which I think it's crazy, because that's the truth. People are always going to want to give their opinion for or against trans. Why is MrBeast not reacting to this? When MrBeast reacts, people are going to have to give their opinion again about what he said, That's just part of it. It couldn't have gone any other way. And since not everybody is pro-trans or everybody is against trans, and even the people who are sort of don't care, like me, we obviously are going to have an opinion about having watched a boy crew doing all of these videos for a couple of years now, and now the crew is changing. And I know the crew has changed because a couple of people who were on the team have left, were fired, blah blah blah, to now having a member of the crew that is sort of here and not here politely, but we are always going to have opinions about that. That's just normal. So let's actually continue with the video.
So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude, yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial
I know people are allowed to change. The good thing about this is that I think he took his time to make sure that he really knew that he wanted to change, because a lot of young people today are so influenced by just getting up in the morning and go around and just decided, well, I'm going to change today. They don't take the time to really reflect on it. But Chris actually has been changing slowly all over the years.
Appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I quote look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting replies such as "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better."
Of course, he needs to actually upgrade his passport, because when you actually don't look anything like your passport, it is a problem for customs, and they travel a lot. I mean, the MrBeast videos are about going to Antarctica and going all around the world, trying different planes and everything. So for somebody who actually moves a lot, and actually I had not thought about this, but they film most of their things in America. But obviously, if you decide to become a trans person, that could actually affect you going and filming in a whole lot of countries, because a whole lot of countries are not actually that much open-minded. Not even minded, they just don't go with everything that supports LG plus community. So yeah, that actually might be hard overall for the MrBeast brand and channel.
Yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with this same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Chris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this
Carl is this dude right here, who was actually just a cameraman and an editor for the MrBeast, and start appearing in the video. And apparently Chris decided that he really wanted him to stay on, so he stayed on quite a bit, and now is one of the main character in the body. Yes, most of the time always wear these nail polish thingy, which, you know, wearing nail polish does not make you gay, because obviously drummers and everything, rock star people have always wore nail polish, black nail polish mostly. Most of them are not gay, so nail polish, even dresses, actually does not make people gay. You know, the humankind decided that dress are more for women and trousers are more for men, but I mean, we decided this. This did not came in a code before we were born. We were here and we decided that. So when men wear dresses, we actually find it a bit weird, but mankind decided that. So I mean, you wear whatever you want to wear.
Pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated," with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and
Chris seems to have known that he was bi for a while now. And I know today people actually have those things where they get into a relationship, a marriage, and XYZ 2 minutes later they get divorced. And this is now a trend, straight or not straight. But I think that if you don't really know where you're going and you marry somebody and you have a child with that person, and then you decide, oh, I'm really going to go through with that, it can happen. Maybe this is not where his mind was when he was getting married, and he has decided to now change and transit into womanhood. He got married, got a child, a boy, and he now decided to separate from his wife, and well, obviously still has his kid, which is one of the things that a lot of people are concerned about, because it's not that we don't believe that somebody who's not straight can actually not be a good parent to a kid. It's just that how awful it is to get married to somebody who just decide to change that much, because it's not I'm leaving you for another woman, it's I'm leaving you, I'm becoming a woman. Maybe even as the ex-wife, you don't want that for your kid, but you don't have a choice now, because this is biologically this person's child. While people are actually expressing those kind of thoughts, a lot of people will turn around and say that some of us are homophobe or some of us are not homophobe. I love Chris. This is something that we talk about because it affects us. We have seen Chris on our screens for so long that it is now confusing. It is now, quoting politely, not normal to us, because this is not how we got to know Chris. And now Chris decides to change. So most people actually have questions about that. It's not a surprise. This shouldn't be a surprise for anybody to actually be surprised about people questioning MrBeast about all this, because I mean, if this is not what it was in the beginning, this is not what it is now. We saw it when what it's called, the Viking guy who actually was let go, and we didn't see him, and he made a video saying this is how I left MrBeast and blah blah blah, and it got like more than 1 million of views because people were curious, because he was part of the team and all of a sudden he wasn't there anymore. So people were questioning that. So obviously people are also going to question the Chris situation. That is absolutely normal.
Raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders.
And this is the part that a lot of us have issues with, because MrBeast channel is mainly watched by teenagers, some of us that are a bit older, but you know, we have been watching this channel since forever, than kids. So a lot of people, I'm going to say MrBeast channel, are like from 5-6 year old to plus, but I mean, a lot of us have seen these people grow up. These people get married. Chandler got married, MrBeast, we know how it's going, Jimmy, sorry. And so we have seen them changing and growing up. I think if he wants to change, he's allowed to change. It's not, if you're really not happy as a man and you really want to be a woman, it's your choice. Obviously, we'll even if we give our opinion about all of this, at the end of it, it is his life. He does whatever he wants to do. He does the best he can do for his family, ex-wife, kid. That it is his life, and he's allowed to do whatever he wants to do. For me, I always draw the line where you can be who you want to be, but when you go to a kid award where people know you as before Chris and you dress like this, there's a whole lot of kids there that I believe that you should not influence people who are under 18 when you're in that community. That's my opinion. I stand by it. It's not homophobe, as I say, you do whatever you do, but I think that influencing kids when they're not 18 yet is something that I'm really not for.
Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and Brand. While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. "There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times." Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker." Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure?" Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as
I think that's the part that made the point to SunnyV's video right away. You see a lot of backlash. You see a lot of people who know Chris obviously through the MrBeast channel, who are not really happy about that, who are maybe conservative a little bit or a whole lot conservative, but they're not happy. So some people are obviously going to accept, to support his transition, but a whole people are not, and these people are going to ask themselves, should I actually stay and keep watching MrBeast channel as a subscriber, or am I not going to do that? Which obviously brought the commotion about wanting to know Jimmy's opinion, because obviously Jimmy, a friend to Chris, is collaborator to Chris, is the boss of Chris, is Chris's boss. So we all wanted to know, is he going to stay on because now it's like a girl on the crew, or obviously girls also are invited on MrBeast channel. But people were curious about all of this. So when you actually have that, one of the biggest, if not the biggest YouTube channel that exists, or the most entertainment, because I know that Pee-wee is there, but some of us do not watch that other channel, people wanted to know. So after all of this video went around and around, and all of this, after all of this, people were talking about this video that I'm watching, and some people actually were not happy about that video.
Once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant rate. ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life." In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun.
You don't want your friend to just let you hang and dry when you are in the middle of a commotion like that. However, so people who are traditional and conservative was not happy about the response of MrBeast. As I said, not giving a response was going to give commotion. Giving a response, because standing and giving out your opinion was always going to actually bring in commotions, because now every time somebody is going to see Chris on the video, it doesn't matter how good the video is. Jimmy has always wanted to have great videos who has a lot of incredible impact around the planet. But if now people that are watching your channel are actually not happy about this, this is one of the videos, the last videos that he had made, a streaming video where Chris was actually dressed as a woman, a bit more feminine, which you can see that the ratio is like 1/3 with the dislikes, and people are not liking it, which is a sad thing, because usually MrBeast videos have a whole lot of more likes than dislikes. Unfortunately, the dislike button is now sort of invisible to most viewers. You actually have to go and do all of these things to see the dislikes ratios. But it just goes to show that your public, if they start not really being up for it, it's a problem, because this is their job. They don't have anything else to do but this.
As usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make...
I think that is what it was. You know, sometimes you just open packages and you keep quiet. Maybe people were tired. So you can't just judge people from being quiet and awkward and stuff, you know, sometimes.
However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million.
It goes to shows when you actually have so many people behind making fun and criticizing how Chris is, that the community that actually loves you finds you weird, don't really like it. If you start having that kind of feedback coming back your way, clearly the people have spoken, and a lot of the people don't like it. Is it a good thing for the MrBeast channel and community overall to have Chris staying on just that?
Views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama. The most relevant. Is it going to be good for MrBeast brand overall? Because as much as a lot of people nowadays are like queer, LG plus supporter, tolerant, a whole lot of people are not, and we don't know where it's going to go yet. And that's where I don't understand why people are against SunnyV on this one, because he didn't actually say that he was against. SunnyV did not actually say that he was against Chris being a trans. He was against MrBeast having Chris around still. He didn't say none of those things, but he actually stated the obvious. Is it good for Chris to still be in MrBeast Brand, on MrBeast's video, or is it going to actually be a downfall for MrBeast Brand? That is the only thing that is actually stated in this video. And I know that even actually having opened that Pandora box has cost him a whole lot already, because a lot of people have actually gone, and you can see that some people believe that this would actually ruin his reputation. This is a day ago, and this is 10 hours ago, and this video already has like 60k views, which is kind of just crazy. People are just reacting a lot to this, but if you go on the internet today, you will see that Jamari actually has reacted to that video. This person has reacted to that video. Hassan something has reacted to this video. So after the video actually came out, and people were talking about it, so many people actually reacted to it. So somebody was like, why? And well, this is the title of the video. And MrBeast actually replied, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't a nightmare, he's my friend, this and this and this, and other people gave their opinion about it. So Hassan actually reacted because he does not understand. He knows both Chris and Jimmy, so they decided to make a whole video out of it. Jamari reacted to it. OJ Aubrey over here gave his opinion about it. If this is the real J. Aubrey, his opinion about it, one of the worst video. But I think this is real. I think that overall, Chris' transition might actually affect the MrBeast brand one way or the other. We don't know yet, and only time will tell. It is a concerning thing when people change and they go to events such as this, and where people send their kids, and people don't really want their kids to be around trans people. It is a question that should be asked, and that's an opinion about it. But I don't believe that maybe people think that SunnyV talking about this was not okay, but I think that he actually just asked question, and he didn't really actually took one side or the other, and a lot of people are not actually liking. Not everybody is pro that. I saw another comment. Sometimes people are just trying to protect their kids and their family members. I understand the situation where MrBeast is, because we actually can quickly give out our opinion about people that we don't know. But if somebody around you, close to you, decide to change, it is harder to actually have those opinions, because this is somebody you have loved. This is somebody you know from childhood. This is somebody that you can't stop, just erase from your mind, just from the day and from one day to another. This Chris has parents, ex-wife, kid. I can understand that it's hard for the viewer, because he's also now part of our lives, because we have been watching him for years, and it is concerning, because if you don't really like that community, you're going to ask yourself, should I still be watching and supporting that channel? And beyond that, it's just that you're seeing somebody who is there but who's not really there, because the person has changed, and you don't really know if you want that person to change or not. So I think that the title itself is not right. Why will Chris be soon a nightmare? I don't think it will be a nightmare. I think maybe the title should have changed to, is Chris going to be a nightmare for MrBeast? Because one thing or not, people are always going to give their opinion about all this. It is normal, because we have been watching this channel for ages. It is normal that we have opinion about it. It is normal that Jimmy has an opinion about it. It is more normal for Jimmy to stand with his friend about it. But I think, because I've actually seen the conclusion to this video, I think that if it becomes too much of a commotion, probably the best situation that can happen is just Chris stepping down a little bit, because obviously as also a friend to Jimmy, you don't want to actually ruin your friend's brand. And it is actually going to be difficult for him to even travel around, because again, not all countries actually agree with the LG plus trans community. So time will tell. As I say, time will tell, and we'll just see what actually happens. Maybe we'll be wrong and we'll adapt, and the videos are still going to be crazy fun for us to watch, and that's what we hope for. But again, I can see some parents not wanting their kids to actually watch MrBeast video with having somebody Chris in the videos. It's not people being close-minded, it's just some parents being parenty again for their kids. So we also cannot judge people for that. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment section. If you like the video, put a like. If you don't like the video, put an unlike. But you can put your comment and you can subscribe. Take care. Faceless here. Take care. Ciao.